What happens when a young tennis player returns home after making history on one of the world's biggest stages? For Alex Eala, the answer was something nobody could have predicted. What was supposed to be a simple fan appreciation event quickly transformed into one of the most emotional celebrations Philippine tennis has ever witnessed. Thousands of supporters filled the Glorieta Activity Center in Makati long before the event officially began. Families arrived early. Young tennis players carried rackets hopping to catch a glimpse of their newest inspiration. Philippine flags waved throughout the venue as chants of Alex's name echoed through the crowd. It felt less like a meet and greet and more like the welcome reserved for a national sporting hero. But how did a 21-year-old tennis player create this level of excitement? The answer goes far beyond one tournament. Alex Eala's journey has never been about overnight success. Long before headlines around the world began celebrating her achievements, she spent years quietly building her career through hard work, international tournaments, and countless hours on the practice court. Unlike athletes from countries with long tennis traditions, Eala had to create her own path. Every ranking point mattered. Every tournament became another opportunity to prove that a Filipina player could compete with the very best in the world. Slowly, that belief started becoming reality. Her steady rise through the WTA rankings earned respect inside professional tennis, but it was her recent performances on the biggest stages that completely changed public perception. Then came Wimbledon, the tournament where legends are made. Few expected Alex Eala to become one of the biggest stories of the event, but match after match, she refused to back down against elite competition. Playing with confidence beyond her years, she demonstrated the fearless style that has become her trademark. Millions of viewers who had never watched her before suddenly became fans. Back in the Philippines, something remarkable was happening. People stayed awake late into the night just to watch her matches. Social media exploded after every victory. News outlets followed every milestone. Families gathered around televisions hopping to witness another historic performance. For many Filipinos, this wasn't simply another athlete competing overseas. It was someone carrying the country's flag onto one of the most prestigious stages in world sports. That's why her return home meant so much. When Alex finally arrived in Manila, the celebration wasn't limited to tennis fans. Supporters from every generation wanted to thank the young star who had made the nation proud. The fan event in Makati reflected that emotion perfectly. Thousands packed the venue, hoping for a photo, an autograph, or even a brief moment with the athlete who had inspired an entire country. The atmosphere was electric from beginning to end. Children wearing tennis outfits smiled excitedly as they waited for hours. Parents proudly introduced their sons and daughters to the player many now see as the future of Philippine tennis. And throughout the celebration, one thing became impossible to ignore. Alex Eala had become much more than a rising tennis star. She had become a symbol of possibility. Her story reminded young athletes that dreams once considered impossible can become reality through dedication, discipline, and belief. Perhaps the most impressive part of the entire celebration wasn't the size of the crowd. It was Alex herself. Despite the overwhelming attention, she remained humble. Instead of talking about personal achievements, she spent her time thanking supporters, expressing gratitude to her coaches and family, and encouraging the next generation of Filipino athletes. That humility only strengthened the connection fans already felt toward her. Because true champions aren't remembered only for winning matches. They're remembered for inspiring people long after the final point has been played. And judging by the unforgettable scenes in Makati, Alex Eala has already accomplished exactly that. But the homecoming was only the beginning. Because as the celebrations continued across the Philippines, an even bigger question started spreading throughout the tennis world. Can Alex Eala turn one historic Wimbledon run into the beginning of a legendary career? But Alex Eala's unforgettable homecoming wasn't simply about celebrating one incredible tournament. It marked the beginning of something much bigger. For years, tennis had remained a niche sport in the Philippines. Basketball dominated headlines, boxing created national icons, tennis had passionate supporters, but it rarely captured the attention of the entire country. Alex Eala is changing that. Her remarkable Wimbledon campaign didn't just produce victories, it introduced millions of Filipinos to a new dream. Suddenly, tennis wasn't just another international sport, it became a source of national pride. Every match she played attracted new fans. Every upset victory created bigger headlines. Every ranking milestone inspired another generation of young athletes. And perhaps that's what makes her rise so special. It isn't only about winning. It's about making people believe. Throughout Wimbledon, Alex displayed the kind of confidence usually seen in experienced champions. Whether she faced higher-ranked opponents or Grand Slam winners, she never looked intimidated. Instead, she trusted her game. She attacked from the baseline, struck the ball with conviction, and played every point believing she belonged on the biggest stage. That mentality impressed more than just fans. Former players, analysts, and tennis experts began praising her maturity under pressure. Many pointed out that the hardest part of becoming an elite player isn't learning how to hit powerful shots. It's learning how to believe you deserve to stand across the net from the world's best. Alex Eala showed exactly that. And confidence like that cannot be taught. It has to be earned. But success in professional tennis comes with a new challenge. Expectations. Before Wimbledon, Alex entered tournaments as the exciting young player with nothing to lose. Now everything has changed. Opponents know exactly who she is. Fans expect deep tournament runs. The media follows every match. Every ranking update becomes national news. That kind of pressure has ended many promising careers before they truly began. The question now isn't whether Alex can produce one unforgettable tournament. It's whether she can perform at that level consistently throughout an entire season. Fortunately, everything we've seen so far suggests she's ready for that challenge. Even during her homecoming celebrations, Alex never allowed herself to become distracted by the attention. She continued thanking her supporters. She praised her coaches and family. She reminded young athletes that success comes from years of sacrifice, discipline, and patience, not overnight fame. That humility has become one of the biggest reasons fans admire her. She wins with confidence. She speaks with gratitude. And she carries herself like someone who understands that every achievement is simply another step forward. As excitement continued growing across the Philippines, many people began mentioning another legendary name. Manny Pacquiao. Of course, comparisons between the two should always be made carefully. Pacquiao built one of the greatest careers in boxing history over decades of unforgettable performances and world championships. Alex Eala is still at the beginning of her own journey. But what many fans are comparing isn't their list of achievements. They're comparing the feeling, the excitement, the national pride, the way an entire country comes together to support one athlete representing the Philippines on the world stage. That's something very few athletes ever experience. And Alex is already beginning to inspire that same emotional connection. Perhaps the greatest impact of her success won't be measured by trophies alone.